You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. I'm your pusher.
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. I was once in your place, you should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in the world right now. Much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in a chain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. I am your host, John Hansboro. It is March 14th. It is March 15th, 2023, Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a great day and great evening thus far. We have a special show tonight. Before we get started, I want to let you all know this is being brought to you by Butterfly Entertainment. Please log on to our What Up TV Baltimore online page, our What Up Baltimore online TV page on YouTube. All right, make sure you subscribe to the page. Don't go on there and just like subscribe. All right. Also, my books are still available on Amazon, Spitfire Poetry Volume 1 and 2, and Unusual Favor, True Account of Addiction and Infidelity. All right. So tonight, we have a special guest on the show tonight. She's going to share a plethora of information with us. All right. I'm just going to let her introduce herself. Her name is Bee Symone. I'm going to introduce you all to Bee Symone. How are you, Bee?
Hey, I'm good. I'm feeling great. Thank you for the intro. Absolutely.
It's good to finally see you and talk to you face to face, other than, when we've been texting and keeping up with each other. So tell us about yourself. Like, first of all, where are you from?
Oh, what a tricky question. So I was raised in Virginia, went to school in Virginia, but I feel like I didn't really understand myself or know myself fully till I was in New York. So I was there for about 7-8 years and then got stuck here in the DMV literally during the pandemic. Like I was just stuck, and I was paying for my apartment back in New York. So, and then I just transitioned. Life happened. I was just like, we're going to get it together. Right. So I just feel like New York broke me and then made me whole again. It was like, this is who you are.
It's a rough place. Actually, people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I like to go there to visit. Me and my wife got a few friends up there. Personally, I couldn't afford to live there at the moment with my wife and my 2 daughters and my family. I just don't see it unless we live in like a matchbox or something like that. You know what I mean? Because what you're paying for space up there, I'm sure you know how that is. But I love the city and I love the food. That's my thing. Like, I love the food on the street. I mess with all of wherever there's the street vendors selling the sandwiches and all that. That's where I want to be. I had some good stuff.
Yes,
so tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what is it that you do?
So I now, after, taking time to be with myself and just understanding like my path thus far, I
Right.
feel like I am a creative wellness advocate. I, through my own like depression of working in New York, New York is a lot. I
Mhm.
started drawing again because work life just took me away from everything that I knew as art. And then I found my way back through sketching. And then from there, I started making coloring books, helping other people. And then I just did that as a way to grieve my dad's passing. And then I started doing research about coloring books because people were getting like they were so thankful to see like Afrocentric features in a coloring book. And then I was like, okay, let me research what is good about a coloring book. And I just found like this whole new path of like how it's beneficial for mind, body, and soul. So I was just like, oh, coloring is actually like, it's beneficial. It's not just me like putting something out because I was bored or just needed to put my energy somewhere. It was a path and a need for other people. And that just changed my perspective. And it's just interesting how like, energy flows, God pushes you in different
Mhm.
doors. And I was just like
Mhm.
accepting of it all.
Mhm.
And then lately, for the past year, I've been holding space online, doing like detox art mixes. So like adults would come in the room and we would just like have like a really dope playlist each month, and we would just talk about certain things and just be a space for us to sketch, draw, use watercolor, whatever you had in your house. I just allowed people to just explore in a space that was like safe, relaxing, to unwind.
Right.
And now I want to do it in person. So I just feel like I'm a creative vibe enthusiast. I just want to bring people together and just have an artistic flow.
All right. I love it. I love it, B. Look, you said something that stuck out though to me. So creative wellness, right? I love that. I love that. Creative wellness. Um, of course, since the pandemic, I mean, mental health and things of that nature was going on before the pandemic, of course, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But after, during the pandemic and after, I feel like we've all been left with like some remnants of something. You may have lost a loved one during that time, or you may have been sick yourself, and it just, it really put your body through a lot. It was a lot of stressful stuff going on. Being stuck in the house for, that time can be a lot. So how did you come up with the term creative wellness? Because the wellness, I really love that because you're kind of narrowing it down, but you're keeping it broad too. And I love it because so many things fall into that. Like, how did you come up with that? What inspired you about it?
Well, me being good, this is a really good question. And I love your take and acknowledging that it's been before, during the pandemic, and after. And I do want to say now I'm starting to see like myself, I'm speaking for myself, that I'm getting caught up in this quote unquote rat race energy again. And I'm just like, I have to go back and remind myself, like, what did all that time inside teach us? Is to always like check in with ourselves and just have time to just relax, unwind. Because yes, I'm making coloring books, but I have to acknowledge that I need to take better care of my body and soul and mind. But to answer your question, how I got to that term, so I am not a therapist by trade.
Right,
And I just wanted to be a person that did this. And I didn't want me to have to want to go to school to start doing something in this creative art realm that's people look at it as art therapy, but I do not call it art therapy because I'm not a therapist. I'm not diagnosing anyone, and I'm not doing one-on-one sessions. This is something that I want
right,
people to do together, whether you're an
right.
introvert, whether you're an everyday artist like me painting. So I'm looking
Mhm.
for the artsy folks, people who like necessarily are just gravitate towards some type of creative outlet, and they don't have or not looking for the pressure or wanting to feel that pressure that it has to be perfect, that we have to come out with some Basquiat piece or some long explanation of like what we just did or what we just created. So I just feel like creative wellness is very broad, but I'm sticking to like the art component of it all because that's what I do. But creative wellness is journaling, it's writing, it's poetry, like where you fall in. It's movement of the body, it's stillness of the mind. There's different things that are creative because we are creators in a sense. We were made from a bigger creator. So it's just like everything that we do is a creation, but we have to have the right intention behind what we're doing to then call it creative wellness.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Wow, I love it. You so I mean, I don't even know. This is amazing because for one, you're bringing so many people together in one room. Right there, that's like, the energy from everybody bouncing around can create just about anything. And to be able to you were doing it online. Is this are you gearing to do an event outside right now? Like outside,
Yes, and then
outside
in
of being on
person,
the internet?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 2 events. Was it this year? Yes, this year marked me doing it in person. And I'm very grateful for like the people in the DMV who put me onto spaces and people, because my network in the DMV is very small, but it's growing, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wanting to do it in person. And I just feel like I've been putting my grand idea in a very small space, just be respectful of like wherever I'm allowed to do it, because in my head I just want people to be okay to make a mess, if you will, and just not put a limitation on what that creative space looks like. So I'm going big, and I'm having my first event the way I see it in my head and I feel it in my spirit. I'm doing that next week on Wednesday, the 22nd, in Mount Rainier. I don't know. Everyone's saying it 2 different ways. I really don't know the right way to pronounce it. Mount Rainier, Maryland at 7 p.m. So I'm very, very, very excited.
So the creative wellness, what part of creativity helps you with your, like, because for me, poetry is therapy for me. I say it all the time. Poetry is therapy for me. I found it in a time where I was in a place where I didn't know where I was at. I was in an unfamiliar place in life. You know what I mean? And poetry was there to help me get through every day, to want to keep getting up every day, want to do things that I needed to do, encourage myself, not let my children see me upset or depressed or down. What is it about creativity that you'd like to do? Like, what is your favorite thing in it?
My favorite thing, I am a fashion illustrator. Like that's like my go-to. I always have a sketchbook on me. But lately I've been challenging myself to work bigger. I've always been technically, I guess, self-conscious or like scared of working with paint. But during this lockdown, while I was stuck here waiting to get back to New York, I just started painting. I was like, it's nothing else for me to do but read. And I was reading, which reading is amazing because I love quotes and I love highlighting. Like those really like capture like my thoughts. Sometimes I have a hard time like figuring out why is it that I feel this way, but I can catch it in words or like that descriptive matter. But painting and a good playlist, which is why like I do my paint flows, like those things are my sweet spot, because I just feel like the intention of the lyrics matches my energy, matches my where I may be, or just uplift me in any type of downfall or even my joy. It's like I just need that connection of just like me letting go of my thoughts and just getting lost in like big strokes of my hands and my arms, and like even painting with like my hands, my fingertips. Like I just love being able to make a mess, because going back to sketching, I was not a clean sketcher. I love the messiness of it all. I'm just like, I like to see all the mistakes, if you will. I like to see the beginning sketch and draw, and like when I layer up, you could see, if you look closely, you could see my pencil marks and then how I worked up. I never erase anything.
So you also mentioned you dealt with some things with the passing of your father. I myself, so I lost my dad in 2015. A real major influencer in me and my brother's life, our very first superhero in life, right? And that's one of the things that started to gear me towards trying to find something to deal with. I lost my dad, then I lost a good friend like a year later. And then I started to deal with things in my home, my marriage, and things of that nature. So with me writing, it was it was therapeutic for me. I find that sometimes it's easier for me to put it down, my feelings, and express them on paper than it is talking with someone. All right. And it's like right now, it's the wellness period is just on a rise because of all the things that we've been through within the last 2 to 3 years. I've released my first book, Unusual Favor, right after. So we were in the pandemic, and like right in April, right after my birthday, I released it. When did you find, like, have you ever did an event and you've seen your the result of you helping someone, or someone's whole mood just changed? Like, have you seen that before? And if so, what does it do to you? What does it do for you?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, congratulations to you releasing your book. I actually
Thank
am
you.
starting my Black-owned library, so I will be adding that to my collection.
Black-owned library.
Yeah, every it's all authors, all illustrators, like everything is Black. It's a Black library.
I love it. I love it.
Because you
I
never
love it.
know. I'm like, if the internet shuts down, I want to be able to go to something that's like written for us by us. I want my FUBU library.
Right. Right.
So to answer your question, I feel like it was the start of like my very first event with Carol's daughter. I was hired to illustrate the girls' faces. They were like influencers and they were trying these new products. They had like a launch event for this new product. And from there on, like every time someone either saw me render them as an illustration, or when they would walk up and just, they're like, it's a coloring book. They're like, what? And then they see how nice the coloring book is, because I push the boundaries with how my coloring books are produced. I want people to have like mixed media options. I don't want to keep you in a constraint. I want you to have that full high-end luxury feel without having to pay like over $100 to get the book. And they're unique images. And then I just feel like seeing that, it lights up my soul, because it's just like, okay, I took my time. I did this right. I'm not crazy. This was all worth it. Like the crying, the stress, the money to get it made, like every bit of my time and energy to make this one thing, like it satisfies someone, is amazing. I will never forget my first event down here. I was in Springfield Mall, and this little boy, he had to be like 10 years old. He had like a little, what do you call it, Spider-Man wallet, and he was just like, oh, you made all this stuff, this is so cool, I didn't know you could do this as an artist, this is so cool, oh my gosh. And then he left because he asked how much the book was. I was like, it's $50. And he was like, oh, that's like all the money I have. He was like, I'm gonna think about it, I'll come back, maybe I'll ask my mom. Then 10 minutes later, he comes back. He's like, no, you know what? I want to buy your book with my money. And all he had was $50. I was like, this little kid bought my book. I was like, it just shows you that it's a need, and we're fulfilling, and we're taking up space in the right way.
And I think, and B, I really think it's, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I used to always wonder, why is it so hard for our culture to do, or to like, seek therapy or a psychiatrist, things of that nature. There was a time where it was like a stigma in our culture. You don't need that, just pray about it, which is nothing wrong with praying. I pray every day. Let's get that straight first. All right. Every morning. But sometimes, when you're dealing with trauma and things in your life, it's hard for people to express it. So having this wellness thing that you're doing, I think, is a wonderful idea, because for one, people can come there and have fun while they're releasing and getting off of them whatever has been boggling them down. You know what I mean? I really commend you on it. So what is this event that you're planning going to look like? Like, what do you see in this vision?
So there was an amazing segue. I wanted to speak on the stigma of therapy. I feel like that just goes back to our start here in this country, and how like we were just not told to speak about our feelings. We had to just survive rather than nurture ourselves. And then those traits from like just were passed down person to person to person, like don't say nothing, be seen but not heard, like you know, your feelings, they'll pass, you know. And it's just like sometimes you need to really get it out, just like your words, I'm art, and everyone's creative wellness factor is different. So this event is definitely going to be something different. Think of Sip and Paint, but less. Think of it like a space where you can have fun. I like to call it like a adult playground. I really want to feel like I'm giving everyone like a gallery experience, but you can make a mess and it's okay. I don't want to give too much away, but I have a woman who has her own tea line. I will be having like these nice curated blends to help you relax and release. I didn't want to bring in alcohol or wine or do like a puff and paint, because nothing's wrong with that. That's your thing. But I took myself off of it, and I just found that I like who I am without it. And then I started to realize when I was in California for like 2 months, and I was just like, there's not really a space that doesn't have alcohol back home. Like, where am I going to go if I want to go out and not be tempted to drink or not be tempted to smoke? Like, where can I go? And I just feel like I want to make that space since I don't see it. And tea is such a calming factor in our bodies, and it helps with digestion, relaxation, sleep. And I just felt like this would be a dope thing to do after work. Like I said earlier in this in the interview, like I feel like the stress levels are increasing again. I feel like, you know, people are being forced to go back into the worst place, you know, money and everything, crypto, all these things, all these pressures are happening again. It's just like, okay, we need to come back to center, and we need a space that allows us adults to tune back in with ourselves. Because if the adults aren't together and you're raising children, then you're just, again, passing down that trauma, that annoyance, the heavy energy. And if you gotta be a reflection for the younger or the next generation, so that they know how to take care of themselves. I'm sorry. Oh, that was a long answer.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I love your energy. I really do. But no, you're fine. So I kind of want, so with this being Women's History Month, right? And what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. Like I feel like you're creating something that definitely is needed, but something that has some long lasting power and effects. Like I really, it's so, when I go out, you know, certain places, it's so much stress and anxiety in people that I see getting upset like within a split second. I could be standing in line at a store, right? And maybe we're waiting a little bit long, or like it's like everybody's attitude is just on edge, just like just aggressive. You know what I mean?
I can feel it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And with what you're doing as a Black woman too, I commend you, because you know that there's so many stigmas in our culture, right? And it's important that we have things to do that can bring us, you know, center us and bring us down, because everybody's not going to talk to someone. I see a therapist and a psychiatrist from time to time. You know what I mean? And I am a person who, I don't push it on people, but close people to me that I know may need somebody to talk to, I tell them all the time, hey, look, maybe you should, you know, talk to somebody or whatever. But with this, I want to get back to this stuff. But with this being Women's History Month, to you, Bee, what is it like for you to be a Black woman in today's society?
Ooh. I feel, I guess it's a cliche. The first thing that came to me was like, I feel like magic. I feel like visible magic. I feel like, and also let me go back. So being back in the DMV, like where I was raised, with a different mindset, like I feel like New York really did break the bubble that I was built around when I was here, because like I grew up in a Caribbean family. I couldn't go to DC, so I never saw DC and the Chocolate City, the High. I never saw any of that. I was very closed in. And New York was like, that's
Right.
not real life. Here go real life. So being here again and seeing like the veil off my eyes and just knowing like the things that we were against, because where I grew up, it's very diverse. Like I didn't really see racism, so I went to New York. I didn't experience any of those stuff, prejudice, like none of that. I didn't grow up around any of that, and I was very blessed. But at the same time, just like now coming back, I see the differences and I see the challenges that we went through, and I'm thankful for that because now I'm making space for what I feel is needed in this world and not waiting for someone to say, okay, like, for example, I'm not gonna drop no names, but I have reached high and low to get this event off the ground. And I have had very little struggle from certain people. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself because and not even just do it to myself, do it with other people of color who are open to it. And that's they gave me such warm, open space for me to just figure it out, like what it is that I'm trying to do. And I commend them for that because I just feel like as a community, we are so much stronger. And I just feel like visible magic, like anything is possible. I left a job that I hated, and here I am making a living off of my art, working remotely as an artist. It's just like, it's just and it's all possible. Like the word impossible reads I'm possible, so it's all possible.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. I like that. I like that. Damn.
It's time for a poem.
Right, definitely. But yeah, I mean, but have but being a Black woman and you have your own business right now and what you're doing, what you just mentioned, you deal with some struggles and I know there's some hurdles and things that you have to deal with. And I told children and kids all the time that whatever they want to do in life, they got to put the work in. You know what I mean? A lot. I have a 14-year-old daughter and 11-year-old daughter. They're teenagers now. So I see like so much interesting things and so many of these kids out here. Some of them want to work, and quite honestly, some just want to do whatever, And it's not I don't believe it's their fault. Maybe they'll grow into something and do something else. You know what I'm saying? But with the children, I try to tell my kids all the time, especially my oldest one, I've been here longer than you, honey. There's no way that you can tell me more about life than I can. I'm 48 years old. You're 14. What do you know about life more than I do, other than what you can punch in that phone? Because I think that's one of the issues that we got too. Social media. They can go on here and find anything and get an answer to anything in just about a split second. Do you see you trying to push what you're doing with in the future, like trying to do it with children as well as adults?
I most certainly do. I feel like it would be amazing time with them, and I feel like it would allow them to see art in a different space. Like we mentioned earlier, creative wellness looks different for everyone. What works for me may not work for someone else, but it should be a space for us to try. And I know from personal experience and seeing things that are offered for adults, it's like you have to commit to like something for 6 weeks or 6 months or be a member and I'm just like, maybe someone just wants to tap in once or twice a month. I mean, once a month or, for the next 3 months and like, move on or see what's for them and I just feel like this would be a great space for a child to just let go of all boundaries. That's really the one thing that I want to break is like the way they think, the way they're told like this isn't possible or we have to work in this space or this small amount of canvas. It's like, no, like let's not. I remember high school art class. Oh, it was just terrible. I just remember the limitations and like the requirements. I was just like, why does it have to be this way? Like art is different for everybody. Who are you to tell me what I'm doing sucks? Right. So yes, I definitely want to do that. And I really want to have like how they had those like daddy and daughter or parent and events, spouse or not spouse, parent and child. I really want to do one of those because I feel like the relationship building is something that I really want to tap into, and to do that. And so there is other families there too, so we can just all have that camaraderie together. That is something that I'm just like, that's happening this summer for sure.
Absolutely. Now, I know I probably went around this question and asked you this when we kind of first started, but what, like, how did you come to this though? Like, what inspired you? Now I don't want to get too personal. You don't want to share too much personal information, but like with things that we deal with in life, I found my therapy in writing through dealing with trauma. And I'm not talking about like trauma I grew up with or nothing like that. I'm talking about just dealing with the different levels of having children, being married, and house bills, things of that. You know what I mean? We dealt with a lot. How did you come into the creative wellness?
Ooh, I think it was before I quit my job working in the fashion industry. This lady asked me, I think it was my exit interview or something. I don't know what it was, but she asked me, she was just like, oh no, it was before, when I was still working there. She was like, well, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I'm thinking to myself, not here. Like, right. No, I just knew I wanted to travel and have art experiences, but I didn't want it to be a sip and paint per se, but I didn't really know what that looked like. So I was very depressed, and I just, art was just my way to just keep myself alive and just vibrant. And I just feel like when I was in California, I went to this tea house, and it really inspired me, because I was just like, yo, this is the idea that I had in my head, but I didn't think it was possible, because it was 2017, and I was like, who's gonna come? Like, am I crazy for having these thoughts? Like, no, I'm now seeing a small piece of it, but right. I'm like, my idea is still different. It's like, it just validated that what I'm thinking is possible. I just have to figure out, like you said earlier, do the hard work to get it done, and it can come to fruition. And so when I saw that, I was just like, okay, bet this is possible. Now I'm about to go back to the East Coast, and I'm gonna figure this out, and I want to get a space. So I was like, I need a space. That's how it's gonna start.
I'll tell you something I learned early on when I started the brand that I'm doing. I used to do open mics, and when the pandemic hit, I was blessed to meet Lady J, and this is how I transitioned to doing this on her station, because I was doing open mics, and I had that idea, like, well, I could just bring the poets on here since we can't go to any venues. So in the beginning, and I had to learn this, I'm not going to lie, I really did have to sit and think about this after a while, and just take it in and be like, okay, now I see. But I always say, when you get a vision, the job for us, God gives us the vision, is what I believe. And I believe the job for us is to work the vision. He gives you the vision for you to work the vision. So I would do poetry events. I did maybe, really before the pandemic hit, I started in like 2018. I did maybe 10 to 12, stretched out over those like 3 years, from 28, or those 2 years, from 2018 to 2020 when the pandemic started. So I would get nervous in the beginning when I first started. No one's going to come. Who's going to come? How many are going to show up? Is it going to be packed? Last time I did it, you couldn't even sit down. You had to stand up. This time, is it going to be just me and the other poets? And I had to go through those motions, and those things did happen. And that's when I came to the realization, of like, if he give you the vision, just work the vision, and everything else falls in place. It's easy to say, it really is easy to say that to someone. Hey man, just keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to fall into place and things of that nature. But it's hard when you're doing it, right? And with what you're doing, I feel like you're also investing in yourself. You know what I mean? One thing I don't like is, over the years, I've had businesses with people that I've did little small stuff we did, and everybody's work ethic isn't the same. Everybody, you know what I mean? You clash and things of that nature. And that was another thing that really pushed me to build my own brand. I was like, I need to promote. I'm promoting other people. Why don't I promote myself of what
Oh my
I'm?
gosh, I was there with you a couple years ago. Not to cut you off. Oh wow. Wow.
Go ahead, talk about it though. Like,
That was okay. So right when the pandemic started,
mhm.
I was going through it. Okay. Stuck here, not sure if I was going to return back to New York, confused about where life was going to take me. I thought I was, I was just stuck sleeping on my mom's couch for a minute. I was like, what is happening? And
Right.
then I was, because I had no art supplies. And that's when like stores were like you can't come in. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? Because I'm missing my friends. I'm having like anxiety. I started interviewing them, and I started this thing called Art Sass, Art Sip and Spill, something like that. And then I turned that into Human Palette. And then after a while, so I took time away from my art because I was like, I don't even know what I want to do anymore. And that's when I figured out that I lost sight for the overall goal, like in 2017, where travel, do art, do something like that. And then that's when it hit me again. And I was just like, okay, I was on my path, but life just knocked me off. So, and I heard someone say, like, if you don't know what you're going to do, help other people and you will figure it out. Like God will lead you to where you're supposed to be. And I really applaud myself for giving myself that space and that time away to just help other people, promote other people. But just like you, I was like, I am going so hard for everybody else. Why is it that I never go this hard for myself? What is happening? So I literally had to stop. I told everybody I got to stop. I have to focus. I have to do this purpose on my life. And I will come back to this when God allows, because the money can't stretch 3 ways. I'm sorry. I have to focus on one thing right now. So as hard as it was to step away from helping other people, I know that this is going to bless me and I'll be able to come back to it eventually.
Right. I love it. I see this as being a legacy that you started. I really do. This is like you're starting something that I really do believe Bee is going to just blow up because it's so needed. Wellness and create like the healing is needed, period, in any way. You know what I mean? When I do my poetry in the beginning, I used to beat myself up and be like, I can't use a curse word and this, that, and the other. And after a while, I had to realize that, and I realized this when I was at a church doing a poem. And this one lady, I say this all the time because it kind of scared me though. But this lady just went into like she was having an experience, a shouting experience or whatever, and it made me feel like, okay, you may not want to do what you're doing sometimes, or you may feel nervous about it, but you got you have a this is not just a purpose. This is what you should be doing. And I can't find a word right now, but this is what you should be doing. This is what God is telling you that you should be doing. Mm-hmm. So it kind of made me afraid. And then after a while, when that happened, I realized everything I say isn't for everybody. I may say a poem when I go to this church, they may like it. I may see a brother at the gas station who trying to, offer me whatever, and I try to tell him, hey man, stay out of trouble, and give him a word or a poem in a different way that he can relate to. You understand what I'm saying? I have a poem that's called Hey Little, I'm not going to do it right now, but it's called Hey Little Black Boy. And the whole purpose of it was for me to try to relate and come down on their level and talk to them, not at them.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? To them and let them know, look, these are the things that are out here that can knock you off your path and get you hooked up into so much trouble. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. Yeah,
it made me feel like it was my purpose. You know what I mean? What was that like? Did you have that moment? Like, did you have a moment where you felt like, damn, this really is what I'm supposed to be doing, where you felt it? Not only did you see it, but you felt it in your soul. Like, this is what I should be doing.
I felt that way since I was a little girl. I feel like working in corporate lost it. I will never forget my first AOL name. It was BJ Incorporated. My name is Brittany James by government. Brittany James Incorporated INC. That was my first AOL name. I was like, I claimed it like 8 years old. I was like, I'm having a business. I don't know what that looked like, but I was just like, I'm having a business. I'm doing something with art. And I feel like there was always, I really believe deja vu moments are our souls coming back to our purpose path. And I just feel like throughout the time of me getting back to my art, I'm always having like these aha moments, like, yes, we're here. And it just feels like those are the check marks, like, you know, my spirit's saying, keep going, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. I took 2.5 years away from doing coloring books, and I was a little petrified to send this out in the world. I was like, are people even going to buy this? Because I haven't done anything. I haven't been sharing my art with this whole meta world. I was just like, I'm not sharing my art. Like, I'm not about to just post stuff on Instagram just for a like. Like, I need to eat. So I was just like, what am I going to do? And then they just started selling. I was like, I'm just having like this really refined faith walk right now with myself, and it's showing me that it's possible. And I when I was in California, I feel like California was my break from myself, and it really showed me, if you put it out there, people are gonna show up, and it's okay if only one person comes, because you're changing one person's life. And I went to Inglewood and I did a pop-up park experience, and I never been to Inglewood before, but I was passing out flyers, and I met this really dope girl, her baby, and I was like, hey, I'm having this event for adults, you should come, it's free. And she was like, oh, okay. And she brought her friend, and it was donation based. I was like, whatever, but she came with her friend, and they donated like big money to me. And I was just like, what? And it was those moments that's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Like, it's possible. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And it may not make sense to me to verbally explain it to people, but when they show up, it's like, okay, we're actually, like, it's working. Because that's my struggle right now, is to figure out like how to verbally say it without giving everything away.
What inspires you, Bee? Like, who and what inspires you?
Ooh, that's a big question.
You have an energy that just bounces off you, like, you know.
I feel like I'm very whirlwind energy. I'm Caribbean, Trinidad, and background, and African American, obviously. But I just feel like people like Malcolm X. I feel like he's my brother. Like, I would love to meet him. I feel like I want to be like the art version of like Malcolm X, Black Panthers. I want to leave behind something that just allows change and forward growth. It's like, I've seen my mom be like, she was the first entrepreneur that I've ever really known. I didn't really see it like that. She owns a daycare center, and I'm just like, yo, my mom's a boss. Wow. Like, she left her job to start daycare. I was like, she's actually an entrepreneur. I never really looked at it like that growing up. I was like, dang, she is the first person. And I was like, and then here I come, started my own business. And I'm just like, and my mom never, ever crippled me on my path. Like, since I was a little girl, like, she lets all of her kids explore life. Like, you want to be a dance, you want to be dance team, you want to play sports, you want to, like, whatever we wanted to do, she allowed it, and she found a way to get it done. And she didn't push you to not do anything or to do something. She always wanted you to be like, okay, what do you want to do? And I feel like, I don't have kids, but I feel like that's something that parents should allow their children to do, to explore life and, you know, guide them and keep them to have some type of discipline to try it out. But you got to know, but kids, you know, having that exploration time, they're going to figure out what their purpose is and what they're called to. So I just feel like that is definitely a need. I know I made this long answer, but I don't know. I just feel like life inspires me. My downfalls, my, like, the 90s inspired me.
But we got something in common, because my mother she's retired now, but she was in daycare as well, right? Nice. And my father worked for Verizon. Well, it was CNP at first, then it was Verizon for a number of years. But for about 2 or 3 years when I was young, I probably was like 7 to about 10. He was doing his own carpet cleaning on the side. So he would bring this big machine home, right? And then put it in a truck and take it somewhere. I don't know where he was going with it, but I would see him clean the carpets in our house. And I really like that sparked something in me, because me and my brother both always been on that type of that type of frequency, where you get a job and you work a job, and that's great, but is there something else that you could be doing? Like, do you have anything else that you are creative about or passionate about, or
Yes.
want to start? And I really believe that parents help guide children in that direction. You know what I mean? I could talk to you all day, and I'm running out of time. But look, I wanted to ask you, before I ask you how to follow you and how everybody can follow you and everything. Once, tell us about your event one more time and when the date is, and then after that, I want you to talk to that young Black girl who's at home, who feels as though her environment is not the place to be, and she's trying to find a way to get where she wants to go, but it looks like it's too hard for her.
Ooh. So my event is called Paint and Flow. It is going to be next week on a Wednesday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time in Mount Rainier. I hope I'm saying it right, Maryland.
Right.
I have an Eventbrite link so you can get tickets there. This is adults only. It's 18 and up, just for the sake of just the energy and intention. And to the little girl at home, and I don't want to be gender based. I feel like I want to talk to our boys too, because I just feel like our Black boys, our brown boys need to be represented as well. You are all important, and
absolutely right.
Like, your dreams, your aspirations are valid. They're needed. And if there's a will, there's a way. As cliche as that is, that's literally it. And I feel like if your home environment is not, serving you in that way, you can find space in the world at no cost. There are parks, there are circles, there are meetup groups that are for free, there are museums, there's ways to escape. Trust me, I know Virginia is not my cup of tea, but I make sure that I get out and I do something that satisfies my soul. And when I eventually start having like events for young children, like, I invite their parents to drop them off and let them explore, because by picking up, even if you're in a home that doesn't feel good to you, finding something that takes you away in your house, whether it's painting, writing, listening to music, good intentional music,
right,
it's going to keep your spirit so light and free, and remind you that this is not forever. It's just right now.
I love it. My wife is mad because I got 3 Echo Dots. I got one on each floor, and I'm a big believer in music and things. I feel like I got to set a mood in the house. I wake up in the morning and bam, Alexa, play whatever. And my wife's like, ain't no way you're going to say something to Alexa before you've even kissed me in the morning, or say good morning or hello or something. You know what I mean? So I too believe that that's very important, because to create a safe space, a comfortable space, you know what I mean? People can thrive in it. I really believe that. B, how can we follow you on social media?
Yes, so I have 2 pages. My personal page is B, as just the letter B, SYMONE.ART. So Bee Symone Art on Instagram, and all other handles as well. But just go to Instagram, everything's connected. And then I also have my business page, which is DTXR Official, spelled out OFFICIAL, Official. And it's pronounced Detox Art. That is my business, but it reads DTXR. So those 2 platforms, you can find me. I'm always popping in, popping out, and questions, DM or email me. Thanks.
Absolutely. B, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, her event is next Wednesday, March the 22nd. Come on my page, because I will share her Eventbrite, what do you call it, like page, I guess, or whatever. I'm an old guy.
Eventbrite link. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't that old. Stop.
I'm going to share the Eventbrite link on my page so people can follow as well. This young lady is onto something, I'm telling you, and just talking to you and feeling your energy even through this phone and talking, I know that in person, when you're doing your event at a space where you're happy, you're in your groove, you're doing what you love to do, I know it's nothing but blissfulness in that. I know it's not. It's got to be. It's got to be. Whenever you're in the DMV and you do one here, please let me know so I can come. And well, actually,
No, you're
this
here.
one
I
is
was
in
about to
Mount
say, you
Rain.
and your
Yeah,
wife should come.
you're right. You're right.
Oh my
If I
gosh, I
can
want
get,
you guys to come. You guys
what
should come
time
be
is
my
it at?
special guest. Huh?
What time is it at?
7.
7. All right.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, I do my podcast every Wednesday from 7 to 8.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well,
But
okay. We'll see how next month goes. I'm doing one in April too. Dropping that
yeah,
little gem here. Nobody knows that. I'm trying to do it once a month. Since it's a big thing, it's a lot of energy. Once a month. I'm trying to figure out if Wednesdays or Thursday. I'm trying to figure out what day because I know people want to go to the club and do their things on the weekend. So testing the waters. Y'all let me know what's best.
absolutely. Guys, follow her. Make sure you log on. Make sure you try to get to her event if you can get out. You need something to do next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, March 22nd. B, thank you so much for coming on. I am so glad that Lady J linked us up. I will be in touch with you, staying in touch with you as long as I can, and text you every now and then just to drop in and see,
Of course.
see what's going on. I use my platform to try to spread the word about just about anything. You know what I mean? It
And
ain't
I love
about
that.
me. Yeah, it's not about me. It's about us. It's about us.
Oh, I like that. I need that somewhere. It ain't about me. It's about us. I like that.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was a blessing. You have no, like the word thank you does not really like hold in my gratitude, but I'll make sure you and your wife get to come to one. So I'll find the date. Maybe I'll move it to Thursday so you can come. I really want you there. Your energy it's contagious. It's great.
Yeah, I know I will have a good time. I know it. I really do. But thank you for coming on. Be safe out here. All right. Guys, if you want to be blessed, you must bless somebody else. Stay tuned for Brother Chad's show coming right up. And like I said, go on YouTube and subscribe to the What Up Baltimore online page. All right. Be safe out here. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right. Have a good one.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.